development is understanding your target market, understanding the demographics that you're in.
Another fun fact, I almost had to deal with MCA Records at the age of 19.
Wait a minute, hold on.
My name was, I had a crew called Espionage, Entourage.
Engage, empower, encourage. If everyone could encourage one person, two person, an adult and a youth a day, we will come closer to our goal. And you can uplift someone day, you never know. And also, as my partner Wayne said, that will be how we break the school to prison pipeline.
Yes.
And that is our slogan of street maintenance.
It is about you. You are the selling point. And the landscape is changing. So be your authentic self, because no one wants to go to work being miserable all day. Look at your own resume, look at your own LinkedIn, and look at your impact and what you have provided for that other company. And if you write things in that context, you're going to talk to the next employer.
In my opinion, it's about giving the customer what they really want and just blowing their mind once they get it. And that's what I really love to see, honestly.
Get people to do more of home cooking, home cooked meals, healthy meals, so we can all live long and happy.
I'm very proud to be a mom, because not for nothing, women are amazing.
Oh my God, the sacrifice, and how we make it look so easy.
I was just telling Joanne before we got on the call, I said, I had to run from my daughter's school. They had an Easter egg hunt. I said, all right, Mom, I gotta go to work. But, you know, just as moms, we make it happen, you know, supernatural abilities. We are the example for them, you know, and I know that with them being a better version of us.
You have to try. You never know how creative you are until you try. Because I didn't think I was creative. I found my creative side during a horrible time in my life.
Art has kind of assisted in my time of need and my darkness. And how can I now, using my experience, provide that to my community who's in need as well? And like-minded creatives who are kind of in a funk or are stuck because of what's going on within our Black community.
The fact that God just plants these ideas in my head, these are $1 million ideas, and I know they are because they come straight from Him. That is literally the only thing that I constantly have that passion for, and that is how I knew that was the lane that I wanted to go in.
It ain't that it's reachable.
It's right there. Yeah.
It's literally right there. You can do this as well, but you got to know that you can do it.
And it's small choices throughout your day. And that's how you change your mindset. So it's not a quick course, or it's not like a class. It is constant.
And then the other thing is, for me, quality assurance. Remember that your customers are your priority, and you have to make sure that your quality of your product is accepted by your customer.
And with that, basically what we're doing, so we're building a bridge for entrepreneurship and prosperity from the north to the south. So begin to connect Black businesses in the north to those Black businesses in the south, and use logistics to ship the products.
So if we are going to wait for you to be perfect before you come through the doors, then we're not going to have anybody in the church. So with the young people, you could come out broken and messed up, however you might feel about yourself. Come on in.
That, golf grills is essentially that, just sitting down and picking their brains and really trying to get that understanding. When you hear their stories, you could also learn for yourself too.
But not only that, now you're an owner. You know what your mind shift is when you own? So let's say you own Microsoft. Well, as an owner, don't you want to know about your company?
We, like you said, we can help each other so much more if we collaborate instead of competing.
I love that. Collaboration over competition. Come on with the takeaways. That's a huge takeaway right there.
I think it will be essential to actually have the immediate community be a part of this, because
Hello. Welcome. It is Lunch and Learn Thursdays with Juneteenth. We are excited to have you on today. Today we have a very special person. Well, every week we have a very special person, but today it is significantly special, near and dear to my heart. One of my good friends, one of our advisory board members, will be Debra Dixon-Anderson. So let me tell you a little bit about her. She's the CEO of Light of Gold PR. Marketing and Consulting LLC. Debra has over 20 years of experience in technology, public relations, and marketing. She is also the founder of Gold Wellness Circle, which we are proud to be partnering with for our event this weekend, a nonprofit dedicated to promoting physical and mental health, as well as self-care within our communities, which is something that, as you all know, is very much needed for us in the African-American community. Today, Debra will be sharing her personal caregiving journey, which is something that hits home to a number of people, especially as I know myself, I'm getting older and getting into the space of having to care for my elders, my grandparents, my great-grandparents that are still alive, thankfully, and my mom, although she doesn't want to admit that she's getting to that age. But Debra cared for her mother, I guess it's Tootie, who lives with Alzheimer's. And she is going to be offering some practical self-care strategies for caregivers. And she'll be talking a lot more about that also on Saturday at the Alzheimer's event that we'll share a little bit about a little bit later. She will also discuss the unique challenges that Black and Brown caregivers face and the importance of seeking culturally relevant support. So let's welcome to the stage Miss Debra Dixon-Anderson. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing, my love?
I'm good. Thank you, Athenia. Thank you, doll. I'm happy to be here.
You are very welcome. Always a pleasure. And we didn't even plan this again. I feel like every time we get together, it's like we both got on the same colors. We always.
I know. Oh my God. I didn't even see the memo, but apparently we're like this. We're like you and I like, yes, I love that.
We are. So I'm going to jump right in. Debra, tell us a little bit about yourself. I kind of gave an overview of kind of like the business aspect of you and a little bit about your story with your mom, Tootie, but tell us a little bit more about you.
Yes. So, definitely a serial entrepreneur. So I've had Light of Gold PR for 18 years. And then before that, I did IT and tech. So I've been around for a minute doing different types of things, very hardcore into PR marketing, branding, and digital marketing strategy. Love that. And I'm also a champion for networking. I believe that connecting with other people, just like you and I are connecting, are connected. I have decades worth of connections and contacts and communities that I've been part of that makes it such a big difference for us when we are trying to plan events, when we have initiatives, when we are trying to implement strategies. Our connections, the people we're connected to, our communities make a big difference in helping us to push forward with whatever we're trying to put together. So I'm a big believer in community, whether it's business, whether it's self-care, which we're going to talk about, whether it's getting help and support. So I've been a big champion of that and been part of a lot of different chambers of commerce, which is how we met. We met through the Brooklyn Chamber. So shout out to them. So I'm a big believer. I've been, on the front lines of a lot of events that provide impact, that are meaningful for people to connect. And even though our events aren't always the biggest events, it's so impactful because people are able to connect with each other in real time. So that's a big deal for me.
I totally agree. I definitely there's a knack for smaller events for the personability that allows when you have big events, it's like you're trying to reach all the goals, you're trying to attract everyone. But when there's smaller, there's more dedicated time to each individual. You really get to build some relationships. So
yes.
Someone on IG, Rice Global Enterprise said on IG, yes, love to network with like-minded people. And that's always a very big thing. Connecting to people who are similar attributes. So can you share some key moments from your caregiving journey with your mom, Tootie, and how that has shaped your approach to self-care overall?
Yes. So it's 2015, 2016. You know, I live in New Jersey. My husband Rick and I live in New Jersey. Mom was living in the Bronx, originally from the Bronx. And I'm on my hustle. I'm on my grind, like so many of us, right? We're going to networking events, meeting with clients, implementing events, implementing business strategies, all of that. And then I'm starting to get messages from her neighbors, you know, check on Tootie, see how she's doing, because she looked like she was getting lost. So shout out to neighbors. You know, we can't live in this world alone. Okay. So the neighbors, she lived in that building for over 35 years. The neighbors were really like family. Okay. Let's keep it real. Those of us that live in communities for a while, we see these people in real time, day in and day out, more than we see the family that we're
family. Yeah, they're true
okay.
aunties and uncles.
That's right. In the community, the aunties, the uncles, the cousins that we adopt in the community, that's what makes us different too culturally. It could be our church members too. So cultural resources are important as well. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but they started reaching out to me. Tootie got lost, you know, she couldn't find her way. And so I tried to come see her a little bit more. They said, no, stay with her for a week. And I take her with me to New Jersey, bring her back. They said, no, you need to spend like time, you know, seeing her. And that's when I started to see the changes in her. She, you know, started to slowly decline. So for those of you who have navigated this journey with the loved one who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia, a lot of times it starts with just the forgetfulness. And it's not the regular forgetfulness that we think, oh my God, I'm getting older. And it's like, ooh, you know, it started to show up in she couldn't count her money. She couldn't pay her bills. It's little things like that. Or she'd take the bus. And you know, our folks are very independent as they get older. You can't tell. I see you, Miss Anita. So, you know, our people are, it's you can't, no, I didn't get lost. No, I didn't take, that's what she was doing. She was like, that bus driver did not know where he was going. No, you got in the wrong spot.
Stop blaming everybody.
So that's what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with that because that did not know. But I'm so grateful to God for people who are kind. You know, the angels that God sends. That I remember getting a call from a lady, I did not know her, but mom was sitting at a bus stop and she called because she was a caregiver working in a facility. She worked in a facility as a healthcare worker. I'm sorry, let me change that. As a healthcare worker, she said, you don't know me, but your mom's sitting here. I asked her for her phone because she's confused. She didn't know. If you could tell me, you know, how far she is, you know, I'll tell you where I'm at. And she was so sweet. She put mom into a cab so that she could get home. And I know that's from a lot of praying that she's done all her life for me and our family, as well as that I've done, and put her in a cab. And she said, I know what this looks like. She knew that she had that vacant look where they just look confused. They look confused. They don't know where they're going. They're forgetting. They start forgetting your name. So there's a progression. So think of it this way. It's like that bottle, the sands of time, you know, with the it's running out, right? That bottle where the sand is just running until it's gone. Think of that as the memory for people who are going through Alzheimer's. So slowly things started to progress. And I had to find ways to take care of mom, you know, that included the community. It wasn't just me because we lived in two different places. So I had to figure out, am I going to move her? She didn't want to move. Let me tell you, she was losing her memory, but she did not want to leave. She did not want to leave. So it's okay. So let me tell you that here's the thing. There's a progression, but there's also the part where they still have, you know, a little bit of everything still in place. And she knew that she was still resisting that. So she didn't want to move. So I had to find a way. And I'm just going to put it out there plainly to you. I think the hardest thing for us as children of people who go through Alzheimer's is you see your queen, your matriarch, your dad, your king decline. It is painful. You will spend time crying, they will be belligerent because they will tell you that they're not losing their memory, and they will blame everything and everybody else. But your parents, your family, know your grandkids, all the grandkids in our family, my nieces and nephews, they knew that Nana was declining. They said, no, Nana she doesn't usually do this. So I'm saying this to talk to people who have watched their loved ones decline, but they want to do everything that they asked for because this is what they've always been, the leader.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a hard time separating myself from my mom, doing what my mom, implementing her wishes.
Yeah.
And me now being that person to start making decisions. That role reversal is hard.
Sure, I'm sure. So talking about that, I do want to ask about, because I know during also going through some personal health challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk about how you were, you talked a little bit, touched about, being able to utilize some of your neighbors and other people who are familiar, maybe even church members, to help. But how did you prioritize well-being, self-care?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I realized that I didn't have a choice. And to be honest with you, what forced me to prioritize self-care was my own breast cancer diagnosis. So here my mom gets diagnosed in 2016 with Alzheimer's. I got diagnosed with breast cancer in 2017. It forced me to learn how to say no to certain things, and including to some of the things that my mother thought that she needed, but that I knew was best for her. And it forced me to say, you know what, you don't have a choice. You're going to have to get treatment. During treatment, I still had to get to the gym. I meditated, I prayed. I still had to do that every day, but I had to make it a priority. And so what I encourage people to do when they are a caregiver, I'm going to give you one scary statistic that is a real statistic. 33% of caregivers pass before the person they're taking care of. A third.
Really?
This is not based on age, because a lot of times we think, oh, well, they were older. No.
Really?
This is based on the fact that caregivers neglect themselves. This is real. They neglect themselves. They put everything on that person first, and they put all of their stuff second. It should be the other way around. Put your stuff first so that you have the strength and the energy to take care. It's just like being on the plane.
The mindset, right?
You're a mom of 3. You got to put that mask on yourself.
Because if you passed out, you can't help nobody else.
That's
so
right.
you
That's right.
gotta take care of yourself.
Yeah. And let me tell you the trap. It's the trap for most people in general, but Black and brown people in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can take care of mom or dad like me. Excuse me? That's a trap.
That's
a trap.
That part.
Stop thinking that way, because the bottom line is you want them to be cared for, but you have to take care of yourself, because if you don't, and I've heard some of the scariest stories during that journey. Other people who were diagnosed with breast cancer, just like me, but they were so entrenched with doing everything that mom and dad wanted that they didn't go back for treatment by the way they should. And when they did, it was too late. And guess who outlived that caregiver? The mom and brother that she was taking care of. Outlived her. Because by the time she paid attention to getting chemo and getting treatment, they said, we've been telling you for a year.
It's too late.
This is how long you have. This is real. So a third, 33% is a real number, because we neglect ourselves.
Really alarming numbers. And as you share about that, I think about, and even with raising children, you get to the point where it's like, I got to be everywhere. I got to do everything. And it's like, all of the stories, everything that I've heard about people taking advantage and this and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, well, what can you put in place so that you can be aware, you can be conscious of what's happening, but so you can have some time. And people feel guilty. So how do you deal with this, the guilt of like, oh, I need to walk away, like, you know, from being a part of the self-care for parents, or even like you said, doing the things that you need to do, like going to church, or just or going and hang out with friends, or going to exercise, like all of the things that you mentioned are things for self-care that really make sense. Talking about the self-care, talk to us, like, what are specific tips that you can give someone who might be in that space currently with overwhelm or burnout that they could do?
Yeah. So I would say tip number one is to prioritize your health and your self-care, your exercise routine, meditation first, not last. First, it has to be, if you need to put a reminder in your phone, if you need to put it on your calendar, block out that time first in your schedule. It could be 30 minutes or an hour. What becomes a problem is when you take it off the table because you don't have time and you're running to get in 5 minutes and then you don't. That's what becomes a problem. It has to be first. It has to be first. And I mean, I don't want to call people who make you feel guilty let your haters be your motivators, but I'm just gonna be I'm just gonna be honest, because there will be people who are selfish because you're not available to them, or even the person you're taking care of who is upset with you for not being 100 available to them 24/7. Okay. You have to learn how to. I've shed many tears. I have cried about this, and then I learned something on the other side, that if I don't do better about taking care of myself, I'm either not going to be here, or I'm not going to be able to take care of this person that I adore. Yeah.
Give us two more.
So 2 more tips would be, I would say, to not be afraid of asking for help. So many of us don't want to ask for help. I had mom's church involved. Her neighbors were involved. I had to work and those of you who maybe have either you have money that you could work with your family to get together and maybe provide someone to go sit with mom or sit with dad, or if they're on Medicare or Medicaid, you can get help. Now, it does take a minute. I'm not going to lie. I've heard some horror stories with that, but getting into the system early enough to be able to get assistance is important. And reach out to your church, reach out to friends, family, neighbors. And a lot of times people will tell you what you should be doing. What you need to say is, do you think you can help me with this? Can you take this? Because what they'll do, and they're well-meaning, they'll give you more things to add to your list for you to do.
Yeah.
You don't need anything else on your list. You need to take that and just turn it back and say, can you help me
do it? Right. Can you do it? Not just being on the outside in telling me all the things you see that's wrong.
Exactly. Can you do this for me? And you have to make that your mantra, and you can't feel guilty about it. You can't feel like, well, let me take this back because they can't do it like you can't do that, because now you're sabotaging your own health. You're sabotaging your self-care. You can't do that. Yeah.
So that's 2. So what's 3?
So 3 is, whatever your regimen is, stick to that. I had a wonderful wellness community, fitness community in New Jersey, and I shared that I was going through breast cancer, and a lot of people felt like I was crazy because it was such a personal journey. And I'll be honest with you, God was very specific. He said, I need you to share this with everybody. And I was like, what? And I'm pretty transparent most of the time, but that just felt like too personal for me and uncomfortable. But then I didn't think I was that good of an actress, because that's what I lost my eyebrows. I lost my hair. How am I going to mask that? How am I going to, So I had to get transparent about sharing with everybody what I was going through, and the resources and the love kept coming. What
Yeah.
can we do for mom? What can we do for you? So you have to be able to share that you need help. But if you are exercising and if you're not, find some way to get some kind of movement, exercise, walking, because you need to release the stress of being a caregiver. If you're not doing that, then guess what? It's coming in here and attacking your body instead of being pushed out. Whether it's meditating, yoga, I love Zumba, it could be Pilates, whatever your flavor of exercise looks like, or wellness looks like, go ahead and adopt that, and don't do it once a month. Okay, do it like 2 or 3 times. Or when I remember. Okay, don't do that. No, it has to be a real
Regimen.
item on your schedule to be
Got
a
it.
regimen, because if it's not going to happen, and all that stress is going to attack your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And exacerbate it. So you talked about your struggle with breast cancer and your struggle with being a caregiver. Talk to us about why you started Go Wellness Circle.
Yeah, but I started Go Wellness Circle really for everything that we're talking about. My personal journey being a caregiver for my mom during my personal journey having breast cancer. So a lot of the support that Go Wellness Circle provides are for those specific communities of people, because I know that journey so well, and the resources. .org at the Alzheimer's Association, their helpline is 800-272-3900. Is a wonderful organization that I've called many times myself.
We see you got look. Not many people remember numbers these days. So the fact that you have the number,
I called that number.
Telling.
So you can call that number anytime you want. You could be crying in the middle of the night because your mother forgot your name or your dad forgot your name. Call them. Call them and tell them that you need help and support. They'll talk to you, or they'll direct you to resources in your particular community. So I partnered with the Alzheimer's Association. Go Wellness Circle is partnered with them, as well as the American Cancer Society, where we partner with them. Our third pillar is food insecurity. We've gotten a chance to work with Juneteenth on being able to donate to a school of one of the board members, because these schools are really suffering. People are suffering from food insecurity. So how do we help them? So that's our third pillar. So it's Alzheimer's support for caregivers, breast cancer awareness and support for breast cancer survivors or anyone in the journey. And the third is the food insecurity, especially for Black and Brown communities.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always say, our pain leads to our purpose.
That's right.
And you definitely, your life has been a true example of how your pain has led to your purpose, and you wear it well. So thank you for sharing that. I know you have a short time today to be with us. So I do want to start to close out by asking, and you've been with us a couple of times, but I know just like when you read the Bible, every time you read it and you answer, you want a question answered, it comes out differently. So tell us what does Juneteenth mean to you?
Oh my goodness, Juneteenth is reminds me of how important it is to remember our ancestors and what their struggle was and what they went through. We complain about stuff today, and don't get me wrong, we're dealing with some stuff today too in 2024 terms, but back then, it's just so important for us to remember our journey, to celebrate being set free. It is something that we should always be mindful of as Black people. And listen, here's the thing that came up, because I'm on your board. It don't matter what boat you came in on, okay? So I'm gonna put that out there. African American, Caribbean, it doesn't matter what boat. We all should be celebrating this impactful holiday, and that's why the work that Juneteenth and why does is so critical and important. The education, all of the community resources that you provide is nothing short of amazing. So that's why it's so important to me.
Well,
Definitely.
I definitely appreciate you sharing that. And I always say it is not my will, but his will.
That's right. It is.
That's the will that I'm
True.
always following, and leading with my heart at the end of the day.
Yes. Yes.
It is not,
Critical.
I wish it was more about self-gain, because I'm like, I would have a lot more, but
Mhm.
that is not the journey. And it sounds like the same for you with Go Wellness Circle as well.
Yes,
So
definitely.
as we close out, is there anything that you want to share? Definitely.
Yes. The event. The
Let's
event is
share
Saturday.
the weekend.
Yes.
What can people expect?
Yes, so the Gold Wellness Alzheimer's fundraiser is this Saturday, right at West 29th Street, 134 West 29th Street, between 6th and 7th on the second floor at Creative Space. And so it's a 4-hour event where we're going to have some wonderful speakers, a couple of people from Juneteenth, from the board and the supporters of Juneteenth. That includes Taisha and Rachel. So we're really excited to have Rachel sharing about wills, power of attorney, healthcare
Very
proxy.
important.
I had to navigate that process myself, and all the caregiving for caregivers in crisis that Taisha is going to share, but also Brother Rojo and Stan. They're going to be coming to speak about the importance of water, alkaline water, and nutrition, and why that's so important. And a lot of what I'll be sharing will be more of care strategies, self-care strategies, but you got to stay there also for the Zumba and the yoga, because that's always going to be, that's a fun time. People are exercising, moving. That's all connected to brain health. Brain health is important to keep ourselves active. And so we try to incorporate in this event everything that's important for yourself, for you to learn about, but also to keep yourself healthy and keep
Yeah.
yourself moving. That's all going to be in one event, and that's going to be on Saturday from 1 p.m. to 5.
Also,
Yeah.
well, thank you. That is great. And we can drop the link in the chat so
Mhm.
that those who are interested in joining us there in person, we would love to have you. Again, like we shared earlier, great networking opportunity, great
Absolutely.
resource giving opportunity for you to be able to connect with some amazing individuals. Like our lawyer, Rachel, who will be there. She has some dynamic information about just being able to, like you said, help you to prepare for those moments, those hard conversations that our parents do not want to have. I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be right here tomorrow. And like, yeah, but that's not. And especially as their mind goes, having things put in place ahead of time so that they are signing things over, like a whole bunch of things. There's so much that I've learned in my journey that I didn't even know was a part of my journey. My own grandparents' illnesses as well. So definitely thank you for sharing that information. Any last words before, or anything you want to share with our attendees before you head off?
Yes, I would say that some of us struggle a little bit sometimes with family members. We want to, maybe we're living in different parts of the country we siblings, I think this is the hardest thing for siblings and family. Well, I take care of mom more than you. I do this. Make it, come where you are and go ahead and make it a family affair. Because a lot of times I just had to draft my family members and just say, I'm sending mom over to you in Georgia for like 2 weeks, and that she's going, And so because I was on the front line, and I've seen families kind of fall out with each other over taking care of, aging parents. So make sure, you can get past those types of things to focus on what's most important. My sister will be there sharing, and she flew in from Georgia for the event. And my grandnephew will be there because we all together took care of mom. So it's like 4 generations of us that took care of her in different ways. So, family event, and whoever's not your blood family, that's your community. Remember, we're all connected. So just I wanted to make sure that I ended with that.
Most definitely. Well, thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
And I know
Thank
we're asking
you.
for donations for the event,
Yes.
even if someone is not able to attend.
Yes.
We will be doing a live viewing also for those who are far and not there, but we do encourage you to be in a room. Being in a room is definitely a special moment. And just being able to hug everyone.
Yes.
I'm a hugger, so just
Me too.
we
Me too.
we need that, and that's not something that you share, but I feel like that is definitely a key component to healing.
Yes,
Is being able to
definitely.
touch other people,
Touch other people, hug people. Yes, yes.
in that space. So
And
if you
network.
are in the
Mhm.
New York City area this weekend, we encourage you to please go to the Gold Wellness Alzheimer's fundraising fair that is being co-sponsored by Juneteenth NYC. We would love to see you there at that event. I know you have to run, Deborah, so thank you again for
Thank
joining.
you.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you
I'm
so
just
much.
close us out, but you can head off.
Okay.
So
Thanks so
have a good
much.
one.
Seeing
You're
you. I
welcome, love.
appreciate it. Take care. Have
All
a
right.
good one. Bye.
Bye. So thank you again for joining us. I just wanted to share some information. We had our first meeting last night for our Juneteenth advisory board, and it was so amazing. I walked away feeling just so empowered and encouraged about what we are going to be doing for this next year. So just look forward to all of the things. Follow us on our social media, on our Instagram page, on our YouTube. Join our newsletters for what we are going to be producing for in our emails. And another thing, tap in. There are so many ways that we are not tapped into other people, and when we don't grow in isolation, that's one thing my pastor always talks about. We don't grow in isolation, we grow in community, and but you have to be in the right communities in order to grow. If you are with people who are pulling away from you and not pushing into you, then that's not the best community for you. So just think about that and what that looks like for you. A lot of us are going into entrepreneurship for challenges that we may foresee, and that is the way to go for the African American community. However, we're not doing it the right way. A lot of us are going into business and we're saying, "Oh, I want to be able to have autonomy and more freedom and to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it." But then they find themselves working 24 hours a day, not having any time for themselves. And one of the things that I've learned in my own journey in entrepreneurship and my multiple businesses is that you have to have systems in place. You have to have what's called standard operations procedures so that you can replicate yourself. Someone can take exactly what you've done and they can do it too and offer the same level of service that you would like to provide. One of the things that we talk about in Black communities is I don't like to support Black businesses because they are they're never open when they say they're going to be open, or they don't have food that they said that they are supposed to have on their menu, and I drove all the way over here and it was a waste of my time. A lot of those are because we don't procedures in place to get the things done. I didn't put the time in my day to go to the supermarket, and I don't have somebody else available to be able to go to the market to get the food that needed to be there in the establishment for that day. So there's so many challenges that we do take on. It is a labor of love to be an entrepreneur. It is a certain level of passion. So I say that all to say, we have one of the things, the passions that I have that has been born out of my pain for purpose is AR business expansion. So we have some very small spots that we're looking to encourage people to sign up for. It is a cutting edge platform that transforms business growth. And so that you're able to expand. We've been able to help so many people already, and we're continuing to work with people, whether it's about their social media pages, about creating an SOP, about creating websites. A lot of us are like, "Oh, what do I really need a website?" And I always say you absolutely need a website, because a website is something you control. Social media, you do not. Social media can go down tomorrow and you will lose all of that content that you put on there and not be able to retrieve it because you don't have any control over it. And when you sign in, that's part of the agreement, that the hundreds of pages of words that they give you, it's all a part of that agreement that you sign. So let's take ownership of our businesses and take back control. With limited client intake, This exclusive opportunity won't last long. So I definitely want you to act so that you can elevate your business, be more innovative, be able to work on your business and not in your business all the time so that you can have more time for yourself. If you can, Joanne, show the flyer so that those who are interested can connect to the QR code. Please scan this, sign up if it's something that you are interested in doing. We definitely encourage you to join us. I am always in a space, like I said, of leading with my heart and how I might help you all. We already talked about the Go Wellness Alzheimer's fundraising event that is coming up this Saturday. Please check out our site. Please go to it. If you go to Juneteenth NY and go under the events tab, you will see all of the events that we do. It's also on our main page. You try to make it really easy. And lastly, visit our website. Just overall, see what we got going on. Check out who our new advisory board members are. Get to know us a little bit more. Visit us at JuneteenthNY.com. Follow us on social media, stay connected in any way, like us on YouTube so that you can stay connected and hear about all of the times that we go live, because we may have some impromptu lives that we'll be doing in the coming months. Next month, we definitely want you to stay connected because we are going to be talking about voting. There's so many things in the voting sphere that I didn't even realize that I wasn't aware of. And as into the presidential election in this coming season, we will be spending the whole month of October just talking about different things that affect us in different ways and how we vote, why we vote, the rights that we had to vote, like our ancestors paved the way for us. And it wasn't very long ago that we didn't have access to be able to vote. Like it was only 2 generations ago. So just think about that our grandparents were part of that group where they were not able to vote. So I say that all to say, thank you again, everyone. I'm Athenia Rodney, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC. I'm very excited to have you join us, and I look forward to you joining us next week, and especially in October for our voting series. So have a great evening, have a great weekend, and we hope to see you either in virtual or in person at our Alzheimer's event. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.